Roll call?
Commissioner Golden?
Here.
Mayor Fox?
Here.
Since we're waiting and running behind schedule. Just as a notation, I do have one. I always announce the late item. It's Resolution 2019-081 for a change order for the construction of the beach ramp, which I will read that in order as we're going.
Okay.
Also, just to inform everyone that the 2019 Best Practices Inventory Questionnaire was completed by our CFO and was filed, and the borough does qualify for the state aid under the provisions of the Best Practices Inventory formula. I'm going to not put forth the minutes for the October 2nd meeting because I have not yet have them prepared with everything that is going on with the election.
Okay.
So
All right.
they're not ready. I will have them
They're
ready
not
for
really.
the December meeting.
Okay, no worries.
Thought it was just me. Donna, can you speak up? I can't hear you.
Thank you so much, let's see. Okay? Good?
Yeah, can you repeat it, Donna?
I said I'm dispensing with the October 2nd meeting minutes right now because I do not have them finalized. I'll have them for the December meeting.
Good, thank you.
Resolution 2019-076 is authorizing the refund of sewer disconnect escrow fees. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Commissioner Golden?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes.
Resolution 2019-077 is approving the budget transfers for the calendar year 2019. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Commissioner Golden?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes.
Resolution 2019-078 is authorizing a shared service agreement with the Cape May County Cape May County Municipal Utilities Authority for solid waste disposal and recycling services. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Commissioner Golden?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes.
Resolution 2019-079 is authorizing application for funding from the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse for the Greater Wildwood Municipal Alliance for the fiscal grant cycle 2020 to 2021. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Commissioner Golden?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes.
Resolution 2019-080 is authorizing the refund of zoning application fee. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Commissioner Golden?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes.
Resolution, this is the late addition. Resolution 2019-081 is approval of change order number 1, final, for the construction of the Glenwood Avenue Bulkhead Beach Access Ramp to the Small Cities Community Block Program. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Commissioner Golden?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes.
May I have a motion to approve the bills when properly paid, when properly signed and endorsed?
Motion.
Second?
Commissioner Golden?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes.
Reports from commissioners.
I didn't receive my report from Public Works.
Bill is out on,
I have to apologize. Bill was out, and I was unable to get the report for the Public Works, so I'll dispense that for this meeting. Do you have anything, Commissioner?
Yes, you got the police activity report for the month of October 2019. Property checks, 511. Backup officer calls, 35. Property checks again, 32. Might be a different one in there. Direct walking beat, 23. General complaints, 10. Parking complaint violations, 7. Animal complaints, 7. Medical emergency assistant calls, 6. Follow-up investigation, 6. Department services, 6. Relay person paper services, 5. Open door calls, 5. Assisting other agencies, 5. Alarm, regular and panic calls, 3. Administrative calls, 3. Wires, poles, down trees, 2. Welfare check, 2. Parking violation, 2. Public services, 2. Water leaks, 1. Verbal dispute, 1. Trespassing, 1. Suspicious activity, auto persons, 1. Standby, 1. Smoke report, 1. Simple assault, 1. property damage, 1, motor vehicle stop, 1, motor vehicle accident, 1, lost and found property, 1, local ordinance calls, 1, liquor laws, 1, intoxicated person, 1, injured persons, 1, hit and run collision, 1, gas leak, odor, 1. That's the total, is $693 for the month of October 2019.
Thank you, Commissioner.
That's all I have.
Okay, any old business, Carl? You want to go over that list?
Just as an update on the living shoreline, the matter is still in the hands of attorneys. The owner has obtained legal counsel. I'll be meeting with our counsel, Chuck Schlager, and I will definitely have an update by the next meeting. We received from the CTWWW that a member had made a suggestion of having shells, oyster shells in bags as part of it. Well, that is already a part of this plan. The way that whole system is supposed to work is first there would be bags of shells laid first. Then you would have bio logs. Right now, the plan is for these bio logs out of the coconut shells. They can be anywhere from 5 to 20 feet in length. They're quite cumbersome. If anybody wants to see what they look like, I've got a picture of them right here. You can come up after the meeting and take a look. I'm going to try and get brochures like this so that everybody can have them by the next meeting.
Carl,
Yes,
Zay Jackson, 3 West Poplar. You mentioned owner. Owner what?
first of all, this isn't open to the public right now. I'm giving a report.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay.
Okay, you have the question, so please answer it after you're finished.
Oh,
Thank you, Carl.
You're quite welcome.
I won't dance with you anymore at election time.
Anyway, I will attend a Coastal Coalition meeting tomorrow. This is a meeting that they've got all of the members of the shoreline communities to get together. This is to put forth their problems so that we can become more resilient after storms like Jonas and Sandy. And I'm hoping to perhaps get a little input from them for financial aid on this project. And speaking of financial aid on this project, at the next meeting, I'm going to present what it has cost us so far, and applications, attorney's fees, and what have you.
Okay.
The other reason for that meeting is also managing floodplain and CRS programs, that's community rating systems. Once we can get past that, we can see that perhaps we're going to get a lowering of our flood insurance rates. So we'll be working on that as well. So I'll be attending the meetings, and we'll see what we can get out of that. I've got some feelers out already with the DEP and the Conservancy as far as funding. It's going to take a lot of money to do this, and a lot of volunteers to keep the costs down as well.
Right.
And the owner of something is the owner of properties, which we've discussed several times, that we need to get the ability to cross to do this. That's the person who has obtained an attorney.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Carl, what do we have for the member list we talked about, to go over the list? I know Molly was one of the questions. Bill, you can answer that question in reference to Molly case. Molly? Any updates?
An update on the Mahoney.
They're currently still in litigation. The matter is proceeding, but we don't have anything really to update you on, other than that we're attempting to get some of the discovery through the prosecutor's office, I believe, right now.
Right, okay. And also, under the ethics violations that they're accused me of, there's no update on that as well. Still waiting on their, the attorneys to meet and go over some things. What else we have, Carl?
They wanted to confirm the police academy issues as to who attended. an update?
That they'll have to just open request or go to the chief with.
We're not
So,
going to tell you who went, but
Okay.
if there's a cost, was how much the cost for the 2 officers to go? I think it was $200 per officer to go to the academy. Is that not correct?
That's correct.
Okay, $200 per officer to go to the academy, okay.
And
Go ahead, Carl.
also having the police chief attend the meetings.
Right,
Right, and that we're not going to do. So it sets up the more litigation.
okay.
Our website indicated a new hired police officer, and what is the reason for that, since we're going into off-season?
We're 24/7 service, and we need police officers, and that's it, to maintain our staff.
Okay.
That's where we're at.
Excuse me.
They wanted a update.
Wait for the questions
on
afterwards. Go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I wanted an update with concerns regarding the vetting of potential employees.
And I know, and to discuss that, each department has their hire. We, in the Public Works Department and the borough itself, have not had a hire for quite a while. But I know the process is to do background checks and try to get the best availability on background checks so you get to know who you're hiring is proper. I know the police department has their own way of doing it, and there's a different system they use that is strictly done by the chief of police.
And they'd like an update on the Bittner document, which outlined the options for the governing body with regards to the Ferenc lawsuit.
That was here, but you weren't here early enough to take a look at it, but it's here, so.
All right. So you actually have a copy of it here, all right? So
Yeah, there's a copy.
Yeah,
of
so,
the
but
draft
it's,
document.
you know, it's a draft, so.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'll take a look at that. There was an issue about whether there's attorney-client privilege with regard to the document. Ms. Bittner indicated that she believes it's privileged. They've asked me to take a look at it. She didn't forward it to me directly, so I'll have to take a look at it and see where it's at.
Okay, was that it, Carl?
Please share the Borough of West Wildwood's official policy regarding reporting delinquent real estate taxes and sewer charges to mortgage companies.
And we do not, or we do?
Does it-
We do not, okay. And I think we clarified that last month
Several
anyway.
meetings.
Okay, yes, okay. Is that it, Carl?
That's it.
Okay.
I've already answered the oyster things.
Right, okay, yep. Don,
I have nothing else.
anything, by opening the floor, Scott?
No, thank everyone for coming out for the community cleanup. That's about it.
Okay, great. All right, folks, at this time, open meeting the floor for any questions from you folks.
Susan Salina, 547 West Maple. I just have a request, Scott. When you are answering a question, would you please look at the person, because you keep looking over at Carl and you're not giving us the answer.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was
That's okay.
listening to Carl read it. I
I know.
normally do, faces, so I apologize.
I think one of the other questions was also, Carl, and I missed it, I know we talked about it in the back, was that there was an election yesterday. There isn't, the certification for the election has not been certified, so theoretically, we really don't know who that new person is, but is there any, what's the Board of Elections saying, Donna?
The tentative count has Amy Corbellis, 122, John Banning, 103, and Anna Doherty at 26. And by the end of the week, they will finalize there was a couple of ballots that they had, paper ballots that they had to fill out for
Provisional?
provisional
Okay.
ballots. We should know by next week.
Okay,
I'll
so-
get certification from the county, and they are the ones that have the final say. They'll certify the election as complete and final, and the count is proper, and then we'll move forward with that.
Okay,
with
so-
the swearing in of the new commissioner.
Okay, great.
And that doesn't wait till next year, that'll happen.
To me,
Yeah,
as soon as
that-
they
yeah.
certify.
Yes, yes.
So everybody
Due to
understands.
the fact that it was a vacancy, normally if it was a normal election, it would be a January 1 reorganization meeting. But it was a vacancy to fill the unexpired term of the Commissioner of Revenue and Finance. That's the department that will be taken over once the election's certified.
Right, okay, thank you. Yes?
Hi, Chris. Lynn Hopper, 6th Avenue. I know, okay, I work the polls. Also, too, we weren't supposed to find out the results until Friday. I just happened to go into the office today to pay the taxes.
Okay.
Somebody was in there asking, what were the results? Somebody came out and said, yes, Amy won. Okay. I'm not going to say who, whatever.
Right.
But I thought the results weren't supposed to be in until Friday afternoon, Friday night.
Right, well,
Also- go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead, now I apologize, go ahead, you can finish.
No, go ahead. What do you want to
I'm
say?
saying that there is tentative that she is the winner.
I understand
Oh, okay,
that.
so,
I
but
understand,
official
but-
results are not out yet.
Okay.
Okay, but there, tentatively, everybody that checks the her website or wherever, it's going to say tentatively Amy has won, but
Right,
I
I
wait
understand
for the
that, but-
certification. But you're saying in the office itself, you feel it shouldn't have been discussed?
Correct.
Okay, I will take care of that. Yes, I believe I hear you, Lynn.
Yeah. Another question. I know we had bulk trash October 22nd.
Yes.
Okay. Was everything on the island picked up as bulk?
That's a question I can't answer. I'm hoping it's all picked up, but.
It's not picked up?
Okay.
Okay. I did go in, it was another question I had when I went in the office, I guess it was last Monday. And one of the public works man was in there, and I said, well, let me ask you a question. I said there was something not picked up on E Avenue. It was an old range.
Okay.
It's been out there before bulk. Still has not been picked up. He said, oh, we're backed up about maybe a week. Well, it's been more than a week.
Mhm.
I mean, the man's gone, you know, he's only here for the season. Is it want to be picked up?
I will
mean, it's
take care of
sitting
that,
on the
yes.
curb.
I will take care of that. I know we have one person out right now, and there's only two there, but two that don't take, but two people to pick up, so I will
said
take care of
It's
that.
on E Avenue.
Okay.
so-
I will take care of that.
All right, thanks. Rick.
Thank you. Any other questions, folks?
I didn't hear, Dorothy Dalton, 741 West Poplar. What did you say that you do not have an official policy on reporting delinquent taxes and sewer bills? Did I hear that correctly?
No, I think the policy was, do we notify the mortgage company of that? Was the question. Am I correct, Donna?
Right, and we do not.
And we do not.
Unless they call and ask, is that it? If they ask, then we tell them, sure, absolutely.
So then that begs the question, why was the one resident reported?
Dan?
Yeah, yes.
And I'll say that I'm aware of that situation. There's differ of whether the report came from this office or not. And we've had conversations reference that with the girls here to say, if that ever comes up, it's only if the question's asked, you will answer it. So there's a differ whether he said, she said. So, but I can tell you in our office, it's clarified of what we will do.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
Scott,
Yes,
you are in charge, you're the Commissioner of Public
you
Safety.
need name and address,
I'm
sorry.
Joe Klein, 750 Poplar. You are in charge of public safety?
Yes.
The police department? Okay. So we asked a number of times about the, who was going to the academy, and you do your diddling and stuff, and you said, nobody. You know, no, I don't know that answer. And then about 4 hours after we left the meeting, there's a Facebook page saying congratulations to the people who went to the academy. Can you explain how that happened, and why you didn't know that?
I've known all along who was going to the academy. I was told it's not for public info. If the person going to the academy wants to share it as public info, that's up to them.
That's, so you.
And the issue at the time was we weren't going to discuss when, where, and what time, and what week or what month the officers
So
were
why did
attending
you
the
tell
academy.
the public that while we were here asking that
I
question?
didn't tell the public that.
Why didn't you tell us the same answer that it's
I
not?
said last time, for security reasons, we're not going to discuss.
You did not say that.
when. I did say
You
that.
said you did not know.
He said it to me.
Last time, but the time before, when they went.
Well, the time before, there was no one scheduled at that point to go to the academy. I don't know the timeline, I can't get into the timeline right this second, but it happened in between meeting cycles. So the last meeting, I was aware that we had two officers who attended the academy. But the meeting before that was the meeting we were asked, are we sending officers to the academy? And the chief hadn't decided what she was doing with that yet.
No, that's not the timeline that I recall.
Yeah.
That's the timeline that I recall, so.
Okay.
And again, just for security reasons, I'm not going to release if it's on Facebook and they want to put it out there, that's up to them.
Why would there be any security reason in telling the people who are paying the salary of these police officers that you're sending them for our good and for their safety to understand more about policing? Why would that be a public safety issue?
public safety issue falls under knowing when they're going, when they're not home, what officers it could be. It could be a possibility of how many officers we might have on duty for that day because there's 2 in the academy or whatever is going on. So it opens up a whole mystery of different circumstances that can evolve with affecting
Well,
the officers.
that
and
would have
their
been a great answer 3, 4, 5 weeks ago.
I answered Mrs. Sajak last
He did.
meeting on that.
In fact, I questioned the security.
No, I did not hear that. Maybe I missed that.
That's it.
Sir, go ahead.
Yeah, Lou Reamer, 537 West Pine Avenue. I just have a suggestion as far as parking in the borough. I think between now and maybe Memorial Day that you could change some borough ordinances. So like instead of parking 50 feet from a stop sign, it could be 20 feet.
Well, I think it's, I'm glad you brought that up. As a matter of fact, we have an ordinance that we're preparing now to change them.
It'll probably be introduced at the December meeting.
December
We're
meeting, so-
working
Yeah,
on
'cause I
it.
went over some of the old ones. There's some
that's
stop
good.
signs that are not even there.
Yep, and that's where we had actually an issue with a stop sign, so you're absolutely
That-
right.
that was
And
me, I
that created
said
this,
that.
and we're doing the intersections, which is a good question. And we have one other thing we have to add to it as well, so it is being worked on that
Because
today.
I know you can't change it if it's around a school, but we have no schools.
Right.
So you can change it, so then everybody park a little bit more, so there's no select enforcement. Somebody might say 40 feet, 50 feet.
And we're going to create it so there's more, we're trying to create more parking there, but
Right.
it's tough in the summertime, we agree.
I know it's a lot of time, but
Yeah,
maybe somebody could figure it out.
yeah, that's why I said we should introduce it sometime in December for that. It takes a
Thank
few
you.
months to get past, but it's a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, folks? Yes, in the back.
Mary Ann Joyce, 546 West Pine. I've asked you several times about this. My house is getting flooded in front of the house because of the fact that your street has been built up behind me, and now we are getting loaded with water. And I've asked you, what are you going to do about this? 'Cause this isn't a new thing. You know, it's been going on since that street's been built up. So it's been, what, 2 years? And I've been asking you 4 times, every time I come to the meeting, and you tell me, well, mine was built up, but it was built up, but not in my section, not behind you, okay?
Right.
So I want to know what's going to be done about it.
Well, like I said, everything comes down to money, and we do have projects that we're going out to bid, that we're putting together for the new year to go out to bid, and hopefully we can start them sometime in the new year to create for drainage, and mainly on that side of the island, because our problem is not just because of that street being raised, it's the water with the outfall lines not correctly being
But at the time
manageable.
when your street was being done, we were told that our street was going to be the next street to be built up.
Yes.
And that never happened.
Well, it's really I don't know if it's really, it's a drainage issue more in front of your house. It should be built up a little bit, but it's more drainage. And we're trying to open up another line on P Avenue to get the water out faster. So, and there's a line on R that we're looking at as well to try and replace, so.
Okay, but in the meantime, when it floods, I can't get out of the house. I have to move the cars. I mean, and then I look at your street and you're dry as anything, and you could just go back and forth and do your own business way.
But I can also tell you that for the last 15 years before that street was raised, you were high and dry, and I was flooded and couldn't get out for days. So all it did was reverse, no disrespect to you. We're working on it for everybody, but, for years I was inconvenienced, and I understood that, and we're working on it. Patiently, believe me, we didn't do it intentionally to flood you out. We're trying to create, where we can raise the streets a little bit and get the drainage problem out, and it's mainly on that side of the island. But it's not just in front of your house, I can assure you.
But the thing is that you have a set plan. I mean, you're telling me you're going to do this, you're going to do that, but do you have it set in motion that you're going to be doing this stuff?
I can tell you that I've sat down with the engineers, the auditors, and we talk about, it's all financial. And for the first part of the year, we have it in place to use sewer money to bond out, and trying to get some grant money to fix this drainage problem. Believe me when I tell you that we've already had conversations late part of this year. The last few months, we have a lot of conversation on it. And sometime New Year, we have to implement, to get the bonding in place in order to go out to borrow the money and start these projects. Okay. Yes.
Susan Swilina, 547 West Maple. Scott, you said that you wouldn't have the police chief available for the meetings, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And why is that exactly?
I just don't want to have us open to litigation here with comments that come back and forth to the police chief. I think in the past, we've never had a police chief at our meeting. I don't see the reason to have her a police chief here now.
Well, the thing is, when you read the police report, and if someone questions you, like, where was the burglary, or where was the break, whatever, you never have the answer. You always say, I have to talk with the chief and see,
Well, we
or else you go to the
established,
chief.
I know you weren't here last meeting, we established this at last meeting. I mean, we take your questions, we don't have to answer your questions at this meeting, okay? This is a public comment session only, but we do answer your questions the best that we can. But anything regarding a question like that, you can ask the chief, I can ask the chief and have the chief get back to you. I can schedule a meeting with the chief for you. It's not a problem.
Okay, so it just wouldn't be in a public forum, it would be more private?
Correct.
Okay, and I would really like to know, we hired another officer, from what I understand. Was that at last month? We have eight people.
No, we don't. I think we're down to 7 right now.
Including the chief.
Yes, 7 including the chief.
Okay, so the website must be wrong, I guess.
I haven't looked at the website, most likely is. It's a little bit of a revolving door sometimes with the police officers, so.
Okay, did somebody just
Yes,
leave?
we had an officer leave within the last month.
Could you tell me his name?
I think it was Pinto that left, Officer
Oh,
Pinto.
he's a sweetheart.
Wow.
I think he got picked up by another police department somewhere up closer to where he lives.
Okay, I guess what concerns me is the amount of money that is allocated on the budget or appropriated to the police department. But I really would like to know where this money is being spent in the police department. And I'm not sure, would I have to go to the
You would have to
police?
request that, the CFO can accommodate any cost questions that you have.
Okay, because I usually get the paid bills list every month, I open
Okay.
it, but there's hardly anything on there regarding the police department, so where is this coming from?
CFO handles the billing on it. I said I can sit down with you and the CFO, we can go through whatever, questions you have on it. They have a budget that the chief works off it, and if it's charged towards her budget, it should be in that bill list.
Okay, because I get the bill list for the current fund and the trust fund and all different funds, but I never seem to get anything regarding the police, and I'm not sure, am I just asking for the wrong thing? That's what I'm getting at.
I don't know exactly what you're asking for, so.
Well, the paid bills, so.
Right, so it's, the police expenditures should be in the bill list,
Mhm.
so.
Because it doesn't, I mean, even if something does show up sporadically, like gas for the police department, like stuff like that, it doesn't add up to almost $500,000, even with paying the police chief $100,000.
Well, there's salaries involved in the
I
budget
understand
and all
that.
that stuff, so.
That's what I'm saying, I don't know how much of that $500,000 is allocated just to the salaries, and then the rest of the expenses are for, I don't know, for vehicles, or, are we buying a new vehicle again, or, what?
Well, again, you can open that, and the CFO will answer your specific question to what you're looking for.
I guess I don't really know how to Oprah it, because I don't really know where.
Well, I think the question you're asking is that you don't find it in the bill list, which means maybe she's being conservative and not spending the money, and at the end of the year, they're transferring back into other departments to cover whatever needs we have. I think you're looking for stuff being ordered that she's spending her entire budget possibly. Well, I don't know that that's what she's doing. I think she's being conservative by saying, we're gonna try and save some of this money here,
Right.
and turn it back at
And
the end of the year.
that's what I'm
I think that's.
trying to
yeah.
figure out,
So I think
like-
if you took that and find at the end of the year, like for instance, we just had transfers now out of certain departments to go into other areas that we needed the money. Well, you'll see probably towards the end of the year, we'll cancel it out that we also use it for surplus. Whatever's left, if we don't use it for other bills, we'll cancel out and throw it into the surplus item for next year's budget to
Right.
try and offset some costs there. So I think if you don't see a lot of things being spent, it's just being conservative, and the times comes when they really need something, they'll ask for it, and hopefully it's available there for them to get.
Okay. One other question that I have is, we sent, the CTWWW sent in a request for, to send out things for bids. Now, I know that Mayor, this was a year or so, more than a year ago, you had thought that was a great idea, that everything should go out to bid. Is anything going out to bid, even if it's a professional service that isn't required to be bid?
And there's certain things that we look at, and I like the bidding process. But there's certain things sometimes it's not efficient to put certain things out to bid. But as much as that we can put out to bid, or we believe should go out to bid, we do put out to bid.
And is there anything going out for bid before the end of the year?
We haven't discussed that yet, but I would be confident that we would look, if there's something to go out, we'll see that it gets out. But I think there is, I just don't know right now what it's going to be. Because I know we have a couple things that go up, whether it's attorneys, engineers, that type of thing. I don't know what's up this year, but they will absolutely go out if need be.
All right, and trash just went out to bid.
Yeah, trash just went out.
Proposals for legal went out.
Yeah, okay.
What's
For
that?
legal went out already, request for proposals, I believe.
Oh, did.
I don't think so. Yeah, not yet. It's
Not
not
yet.
long, yeah.
It will be, I think.
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
you're welcome.
Zajac, 753 West Poplar. Mayor, is the bulkhead all right at the end of Poplar? I don't know what is the bulkhead, but it seems like the water's coming through.
It's leaking again.
Is that the one at the street end?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one was just, okay, that's the new one. Okay, we'll have the engineers look at it, see if we can't get that sealed
And
up.
the
Wait,
second
is it
thing
the-
is,
I'm
I'm
sorry,
sorry, go ahead.
because he said the street end, that's the,
And the poplar.
End of
Okay,
Poplar.
you're-
They
and
did,
poplar.
when Chris
Yeah.
did something, had somebody do something after, put dirt around it or something.
Okay.
It held for a while, but it's leaking again.
I got confused, I thought you might have meant where the beach is, so street end versus.
No,
okay,
down at
sorry.
Poplar.
Okay.
And the second thing is, if evidently somebody has a leaky bulkhead that causes the flood, a lot of flooding. And it's quite a bit of water.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not here to tell tale to people, I know it takes money to fix a bulkhead. But, the floodgates opened up, trying to get through, past, around, whatever. So, I'm not sure what my question is. Somebody said was gonna ask about
I
it.
think the question you're trying to say is that do we put violations towards people that ignore that problem?
Yeah.
The question is yes, our code enforcement officer goes out and tries to litigate with issues that we have, and if they don't seem to want to do anything about it, we will send a violation and hope that the judge will enforce them to do something. But it's kind of hard to do it, but we do. As a matter of fact, there's a bulkhead on Lake Road that we're dealing with now. It's a brand-new bulkhead that they're putting in, and we have the same issues there as they're putting it in. It's leaking, and just to get to the point we are right now, they have been cited for failure to maintain and things like that. So yes, to answer your question is we do that. So if there's a specific bulkhead that you're concerned about, please come in and let the clerk know about it, and we'll see that we can, try to, the last thing we want to do is summons anybody, so we're clear.
Right.
But if we can get, fixed and stop this erosion coming through onto our streets, we would rather do that. But if they ignore us, then we'll go to a different avenue.
Thank you.
On the same question, what is the elevation of that bulkhead need to be at?
Oh, God, I don't know.
The new since Sandy's 8.5, the mandated across the state. I don't know what bulkhead they're talking about specifically.
Well, all
where
right,
it
so
sits
8.5 is the new
Bless
one.
you.
What is, so anybody below 8.5 is grandfathered, or is there some?
Unless you're doing a
other-
replacement, your
Right.
grandfather.
So,
yes.
well, so what are you grandfathered to? What elevation?
Whatever it was, I don't know what that would be off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Some of those bulkheads go back 50, 60 years, I don't know.
Well, that's the problem then, right?
It is a problem.
Right.
It's a big problem. But at that point, you can't do anything about it. Yes.
Mary Ann Welsh, 741 West Poplar. I'm just going over the questions that the CTWW sent in, and I don't think you addressed number 6. It was an update regarding the conflict council's findings and whether the employee issue has been resolved. The conflict.
I have spoken to conflict counsel. I spoke to him actually yesterday in anticipation of the meeting today.
Okay.
He is still working on the matter without giving out too much information because it is an employee matter and I can't really discuss it. He's working in conjunction with other agencies in order to try to get the matter he's handling scheduled for a hearing. and there were some issues with discovery because some of the discovery is not necessarily in the borough's possession, but maybe in the possession of other attorneys or other agencies. So he's trying to get a handle on that so that they can move forward. And they've been kind of stalled with that, so there hasn't been much going on while they're trying to get this information.
Okay. Regarding the Mawiney lawsuit, there was a 180-day period where, isn't there a 180-day period where discovery and everything else is gathered? And where are we?
So that type of case would be an employment case. Some cases are 180 days. That case is a 450-day track. So it's a much longer track. It's probably the longest track that you can have on something like that.
All right, so that's completely different from what your
See it
partner
3 years
said.
from now.
for
He
several
may have been
months.
giving you a different track because I do the employment stuff. So the employment for that type of claim would be 450 days. There may be 180 days left. This might have been what he told you or something like that. So that's a 450-day track.
Okay.
It's over a year.
All right, and I guess this is employment related as well. And it was related to question number 7. I believe Bruce had brought this to your attention about the individual who we saw driving around in a Public Works truck. And that individual was accused or caught of, criminal activity. So is that individual still working for the borough?
That gentleman is working for the borough, yes.
Okay, so, even though he was, I guess accused and, I guess he was caught and, was he jailed? I don't know any of the details.
I really don't know the details to it, but when he was hired, I think that, I'm going to assume that that was looked at, because Chris Ridings is no longer here, but we didn't believe it was an issue, obviously, or we wouldn't be hiring. He's a good kid. He's a hard worker. I can tell you that the issues he had in the past, he was young, dumb, and I guess the feeling is that you have second chances in life, and I think it's important that you do give second chances in life. And if you really know the kid, you get to know him. He's a hard worker, and what he did in the past is something he just, he was young and just dumb. So.
Okay. So, okay, I have another question regarding a change order for the update on the beach access ramp. Can you tell me
Yeah, it was the concrete, Carl, on the
Yeah.
ramp? Okay, go ahead.
what's going, what?
The change order is for concrete to be under the ramp. They put pea gravel under the ramp, which constantly comes out under the concrete. When you're trying to roll people around, if you're in a wheelchair, you're hitting pea gravel at the foot of the ramp. It's become a maintenance issue for the public works every day. Practically, they have to go down and sweep that up and get it. So basically, it's a $5,000 difference in the contract, an increase of $5,000. The contractor's coming back and they're going to pull the pea gravel out and put concrete in there, so we don't have that issue anymore. And that is the final, the only change order, and that is the final thing that they'll be doing for that project to be completed.
Okay, and is there a schedule or anything regarding like cleanup of the beach, weekly or monthly or what? Or, I mean, have you decided on bringing equipment down there and?
To be honest with you, that has not been discussed. I know we're talking about, it always comes down to dollars again, what piece of equipment will work, what the cost of that piece of equipment will be, so we are discussing that, to make sure we do the right thing there. Yes.
Zajac, 753. What's wrong with people just going down there and cleaning it up? You know what I mean? Why do you say equipment? I'm down there every day,
Okay.
okay? I mean, it would take me a while by myself to get green bags and, but it's doable. Why a truck? Why? I mean, you might need the truck to collect the bags, but I don't see any problem with people going down and cleaning it up.
I can tell you that, and I'm not going to disagree with you, but I can tell you we've done that in the past, and all of a sudden somebody's got a back injury or somebody hurt their neck or somebody. So we try to be real careful in how we do things, and make sure we give them the proper equipment to get the job done. So,
Mayor, come on.
Just
If
telling
I could do it, I'm close to 80.
listen, I give you a lot of credit for that. I do.
Don't give me credit. It is what it is.
Paulina, 547 West Maple. I believe, it wasn't at the last meeting because I wasn't there, but the prior meeting, I believe that you, Mayor, said that somebody specifically was hired for Public Works to do the beach
Yes.
every day.
Well, I'm not going to clean the beach every day in the winter, so we're clear. When the summer's over, the beach is not going to be looked at every single day. It's not going to happen. There's a lot of other things we have to concentrate on, and that was specifically when that beach opens in the summer, Memorial Day to Labor Day, you look into that beach, and you're right, and that person was specifically talked to, and again, I'm not getting into personal matters of what his job description was, and that was taken care of, I can assure you.
Okay, so he's not taking care of it during the winter
No.
season?
No.
No, he's not. I'm
No,
down every day.
That's true.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, folks? Yes.
Dennis Flight, 726 West Poplars. Scott, this is for you. There's been reports of gunfire on the island.
That
Any comment on that? Have they been founded? I've heard it myself.
I'm not aware of the report. I can find out for you, Dennis, and I'll get back to you on
There
it.
was an officer down there
I
investigating.
do know we have some, is it hunting season we're into at this point?
Not yet, no.
I've never been going out back at hunting season, but
I
I'll.
thought it was a
I'll
duck
find out.
hunter, but he was on the streets looking.
Okay.
I believe it was Officer Pinto.
Okay, I will inquire
You
about it.
don't know about that?
I don't know about the gunfire now. It's not in my report.
Yeah,
Gunfire, yeah.
I report.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I'll
heard
get
two
your phone
shots.
number after the meeting off you, or give it to the clerk, and we'll get in touch with you.
Okay.
But I heard that too, and I questioned it. North Wild claims it come from their area. So I'm
Uh-uh.
that's what they're telling me.
And you know what? I shoot, so.
Yeah, I know, but
island,
I know. I heard it from my house, and I'm on the other end of the island, and I swear it was right almost my back door. But then when you get reports from North Wildwood, they heard it too. So it was loud. I'll tell you that. It was loud. Yes, ma'am.
Police were there, ladies.
Police chief was here, she couldn't
For
answer.
the Attorney Blaney, we're under Robert's rule, correct?
Now, we've gone through this before. We have a modified Robert's Rule, so what
Well,
happens?
Modified.
Right, so what we do
My
is.
question is, I want to know which one that we're under, since it's modified, since there's so many.
So when we wind up doing the reorganization, we set forth certain procedures in the reorganization which modifies Robert's Rules. And that's the way we operate here. So come January, when we have the reorganization, they'll adopt what they've adopted. If you look at the minutes from the reorganization of last year, they set forth the procedure for every meeting as far as what sections they have in the meeting.
Like bill pay, ordinance, resolutions. Donna reads off
Whether
every
we're
day.
going to have comments in the beginning or the end,
Right.
or after this or after that.
Well, isn't the Robert's rule like a corporation? Aren't we a corporation? In other words, the way we're set up?
Robert's rules are rules of procedure that generally people follow as far as the decorum of meeting to not have complete chaos. So in order to give you some structure to a meeting, that's what Robert's rules exist for. They are generally accepted rules of procedure. They're not a law, they're not a statute. You'll find them in the little pamphlets that indicate these are what Robert's rules of procedure are. Most meetings, corporate meetings, municipal meetings, follow some form of Robert's rules modified to fit the particular situation. Even, meetings of clubs and organizations sometimes follow Robert's rules as to how they're going to handle their
Right,
proceedings.
there's numerous ones that they do
Correct.
with this here. 'Cause
Correct, and
I'm
they-
familiar with
Right.
corporations with that,
Right.
so that's why I was wondering.
So like a stockholders meeting would follow like Robert's rules? Yeah, so it's similar to like a stockholders meeting would follow Robert's rules. But they modify them to fit their particular situation. And we lay out how ours are modified at the reorganization every year.
So how would I find out?
If you get the minutes from the last reorganization, that would tell you what we're going to follow till the next
Just over, it's
reorganization.
a resolution that we do.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, okay.
over me in the office, and you want to know the order of business, and I will have it. It's listed number 1 through 10, I think, as to the order in which I'm going to present my comes. Ordinances are presented before resolutions, resolutions are,
Yeah, I'm familiar with like a Robert's rule to where the stockholders can have a say in, like, say, if he, the president, the mayor's the president, and they don't like his resolve for a matter, and so it goes to the people to vote it out. So that's
Yeah,
what I'm-
we don't have that in our version of Robert's rules, but what you
That's
would,
what I'm trying.
ours are more rules of procedure, so everybody gets a certain amount of time to speak, could be one of the rules that you'd have. This is how you, when you get up to the mic, you have to give your name and address so that everybody knows who's speaking. Those are, it's more of a procedural rule than a substantive rule.
Any other questions, folks? Yes.
Hi, Susan Swalina, 547 West Maple. There was an article in the paper, I don't know if it was the Herald or the Press, about Wildwood and their commissioners' health insurance benefits that they were receiving. Now, I know that there is some type of grandfathering in,
Correct.
right? But doesn't it really depend on the number of hours that the person works?
I'll use me as an example, not Scott. Scott's under the grandfather rule. Before, when the law came in 2010, anybody that was appointed before 2010 was grandfathered and had no limitations on, he could be here 2 hours, 10 hours, it doesn't matter, he gets medical benefits. If I wanted medical benefits, I'd have to be here 35 fixed hours a week within the 8:30 to 4:30 range in order to have them, in order for me to collect medical benefits through the borough. That's exactly how the rule reads for medical benefits.
Okay, because I can't find in the rules where this grandfathering took place. It doesn't really say it in, when I look it up in the.
You have to look up, it does, you have to look at it, it says it'll say prior to. It'll say anything prior to that date. You have to look at, it's in there.
Okay, I just can't find it. Is that
Okay.
something that I could Oprah?
I
don't have it.
Yeah, I don't think,
No.
It's something you'll have to search out.
Yeah,
How
if-
about, Mr. Blaney, would you have any idea?
I can probably locate the statute. If you want to put that in your list of questions for the next meeting, we'll give you the statute number.
Perfect, thank you.
okay, welcome. Any other questions, folks? Yes.
This is for Scott. Scott,
Name, address, please.
7 Dorothy Dalton, 741 West Poplar. How many police officers currently are employed by this police department, including full-time, part-time, and Class 2s?
Including everyone and the chief, we currently have 7.
Okay, 7. So then generally, how many did we have during the summer?
7 to 8, it varies on the revolving door, what's going on. We try to keep it at 8 all the time.
So then we don't hire any more additional police officers for the summer season? It's always the same amount year-round?
Well, the Class 2s, their shifts change around a little bit for the summertime seasons.
So then that would be a no?
We don't hire nobody. We try to maintain 8 officers year-round, and it works out that they're able to cover the shifts so we don't have to go into overtime for other officers, because
So-
we're a 24/7 hour service.
So then, the question was, is there any difference between the amount of officers working here in the summer versus the off-season?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, folks? Hearing none, I close this portion of the meeting to the floor. Enjoy your Thanksgiving to come up. The holiday is the best time of the year, so enjoy them. And we will see you next month, and thank you so much for all coming out. We appreciate it. Motion for adjournment?